Greetings, fellow Earthlings and viewers across the World Wide Web. This is Tune 215, and right now we're in the state of Pennsylvania. We're currently in the city of Philadelphia. Today we're going to be doing a virtual tour of the West Kensington neighborhood. This would be part 6 of our Kensington virtual tour series, where I take you guys, the viewer, on a trip through the 4 neighborhoods that carry the name Kensington: Upper Kensington, aka Kensington, West Kensington, East Kensington, and Old Kensington, OLDE. Right now, we're doing a part 2 of the West Kensington area. On part 1 of West Kensington, which was part 5 of the whole total series, we focused on the eastern corridor of West Kensington. Right now, we are currently in the western corridor of West Kensington. It is about 55 degrees. It's a sunny day. Sun's about to go down right now as we speak. We've had a very long start to our day. Just to tune you in a bit, this tour would not be possible without our effort in getting this vehicle operating accordingly. I'll tell you a little bit more about the story shortly. We're at 3rd and York Street. We're on the 2300 block of 3rd Street, the intersection of 3rd and York. Well, yesterday, upon parking up to make a quick stop somewhere, I got back into the vehicle and the clutch popped. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the clutch popped. Mind you, take note on the new houses we're passing on our right-hand side. This is a brand new one right here on our right-hand side. There was only one new one on this block, and you see all of this lot space and the trash right next to it. Eventually, all this lot space is going to get filled up, but people are now placing their lands here. Look at, you see? They're actually placing their homes here on the land. I'm sorry, let me be clear. Land for sale. West Kensington Development Site, as you can hear. That's what the white sign that we just passed said. We're at 3rd and Cumberland. We have Nelson's Playground on our left, which consists of Nelson's Recreation Center. We got a giant sinkhole that opened up recently right here on the left-hand side. As you can see, I'm swerving around it. It's literally a hole big enough for your whole body to fall through it. Yes, a very dangerous hole. So back to what I was saying, the clutch popped. I pressed the clutch pedal. If you guys don't know, I'm driving a 5-speed all-wheel drive vehicle. So just to elaborate on what a clutch's role is in a vehicle, you know how in an automatic transmission, check out that white car on the left, beautiful. What's that, a Caprice, right? Beautiful. You know how in an automatic, you need a transmission to shift gears, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We're at 3rd and Huntington. Well, the clutch popped, leaving the transmission renderless. It was basically useless. Without the clutch, you can't move the vehicle in the gear. You can't get into 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or reverse. You can't move the vehicle. So unfortunately, I was stuck in a jam. I was able to bump start it on 1st. I just had to turn off the vehicle, put the gear in 1st, boom, started it. I had to coast it back to our point of location. I did a bunch of research, beat my head up about it. I was kind of blue. I was like, man, I wanted to continue shooting this series. I wanted to continue creating content. I actually was in the middle of editing my, let's make this left-hand turn here on Lehigh Avenue. If we cross over Lehigh Avenue, that's the old Cousins on our right, Cousins Supermarket. If we cross over on Lehigh Avenue, we will no longer be in West Kensington. We'll be in Fairhill. Now over here, the lines shift a bit. We're passing a Popeyes where a young man who worked at Popeyes was gunned down in the parking lot a few months ago. He was gunned down in the parking lot. He was in a vehicle. The vehicle was shot up. Him and another passenger, I believe, he was actually fatally gunned down. Another passenger had a bullet wound, but everybody else lived. We're at 4th and Lehigh. On our right-hand side, we have the new Julio de Burgos. New as in, it was made after the year 2002, I believe, like 2003, 2004. I went to the original Julio de Burgos, which is right up the block in the Fairhill neighborhood. Now over here, the lines are gonna shift a little bit funky. Why I say funky is because some of this real estate on our left, such as this park, this is Fairhill Park, hence Fairhill neighborhood. When we go through this block, Huntington forward will be considered West Kensington. And then Huntington behind us would be considered Fairhill. This is Fairhill Park on my right-hand side. Up until 5th Street, West Kensington runs to our right-hand side about 2 or 3 blocks up until we get to 5th Street. But yeah, guys, so that could have been a very expensive, costly fix. I did research. I learned that it's a common issue that people had with these vehicles, this particular model that I'm driving. And I heard the pop. The pop was related to a bolt basically exploding off of the clutch master cylinder. So I was up since 1 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have not had no sleep. I was doing research upon research. And I was beating myself up about it because I really wanted to address the issue without this vehicle, even though I got other vehicles parked away. There's no tags on them. I didn't feel like registering nothing. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense that I didn't want to deal with. So a little bit of willpower came a long way. We're at 4th and Cumberland. We have Juanito's Lounge on our right. So I decided to do some research. I asked a buddy of mine who is a mechanic. Shout out to Nilo. Nilo gave me his opinion. He wasn't able to come through until Tuesday, so I understood that. And I did what I had to do, guys. This morning, I took a walk to the local AutoZone, purchased the clutch master cylinder, purchased the materials, the liquids and all that stuff to do the job. We're at 4th and York. Check out the 4th and York sign. Look at the 4th and York sign. It's on a floating pole. Look at it. You see the 4th and York up on our left-hand side above the school. This is John Welsh Elementary School. I went there when I was a youngster. I graduated from there in the year 2000. I went there for kindergarten through 6th grade. And I went to speech class there too, from I believe 1st to 6th grade. It's interesting because that pole is floating. It's connected to the electrical lines. There's a new pizzeria we just passed called Pizzeria Visieta. Yeah, it says spoil yourself. It's a dead end in front of us. This wasn't always like this. They ended up extending the school field in front of us and they made it a no outlet. This used to be a straight street through back in the day when I went here and I was in elementary school. I actually went here when they closed all of this off. So I'm gonna make a right. We're gonna probably go through like a loophole, like a little detour, but it's cool. Check it out, we got a boarded up house directly in front of us. We're coming off of Dakota Street. We're gonna make this right-hand turn. We are currently on Lithgow Street. So, yeah, man, we just decided to do it. It was a pain in the butt. It's located in a really tough, difficult location. And it's a hydraulic clutch, which means that the hydraulic clutch slave and the hydraulic clutch master cylinder needed to be bleed, B-L-E-E-D, aka bled. You can bleed brakes, you can bleed a clutch. Check out that electric blue Mustang on our right-hand side, Mustang GT. I'm not a big Mustang fan, but I can appreciate a clean Mustang. It's a V8, looks cool, nice color. And I'm not a big blue fan either, so if you know, you know. So we did the job, you know. Took a little bit of I just cracked my shoulders. Took a little bit of back work, neck work, all types of body work, but we were able to make it happen. Abandoned house on our left. My boy Nilo, his folks, I believe they still own a property right here on this block. We just passed one of their properties. They have several properties, and this is one of them. Nilo was the guy who I happened to call about the assistance. So yeah, we were able to do it. We bled it with Omi's help. I had Omi on the pedal. Oh, Omi on the track. Yeah, we had Omi on the pedal, pumping the pedal while I was releasing the bleed valve. When you bleed a set of brakes or you bleed a clutch master cylinder, you're bleeding it to get air out of the line. And if there's air in the line, you have a really spongy pedal. On our right, that's a brand new property on the corner. Check it out, brand spanking new. Just to give you a little bit of food for thought, there was a house right here on my left-hand side that was available as of less than 2 years ago. Check it out. This one with the air conditioner on the window. Somebody bought it because they got a brand new air conditioner on the window. You see this little 2-story with the air conditioner on the window? Matter of fact, the lot is available. On the left, you see that for sale sign? So this property right here, 2514 North Lithgow Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19133. I literally saw it. It was for sale. I was on Marketplace and looking at houses and all of that in the PA area. That was listed for 40 grand. $40,000, ladies and gentlemen. Now that could do because of the condition, the size, the location, and so on, but it was listed for 40 grand. So who knows if that new owner got it for less? You know what I mean? They probably got it for a couple bucks less. They probably made him an offer like, yo, would you take 34 grand? But if they hold on to it, put a couple bucks into it, it'll definitely pay back itself. It'll go up in value. This is Fair Hill Park right here in front of us on my right-hand side. We used to be the old projects on my right-hand side. Now it's, well, BS. It was the old St. Christopher's Hospital. Now it's the projects. I'm sorry. Let me get my train of thought accordingly. The young men on my right are sparring. This store right here on my right, Alberto Grocery. That was my family store. That was the first store. My pop came from New York. He came from the Bronx, New York when he was a youngster. Long story short, my pop's mother and father split up. His father took the 4 boys. I only had 3 uncles, and my pop makes 4. So he had 4 boys. His father took the 4 boys, left the mother, which would be considered my grandmother, left Puerto Rico, came over here and opened up that store and left the boys, his sons, the store. My pop ran that store. That's the store that my mother and my father met when they conceived me. So, I guess that's a part of my story. This is Vinny House, Vinny at Cumberland Court on our left. Those were all brand new properties that were built. And I spoke to you guys briefly on the first part 1 West Kensington tour, number 5 of the West Kensington, or of the Kensington Total series. V Properties is actually one of the sharks that's been investing in this neighborhood. So I just wanted to correlate that just so you guys know some of the information. Rest in peace to the homie Ed. Ed used to hang out on this block. And not only that, the homie, shout out to Drama, B2R, Drama Born to Rule, Philadelphia rapper. That's one of the I would say, if you ask me who do you listen to from Philadelphia the most, it's him. We're at York and Lawrence. And I'm not an avid hip hop artist, listener to or thingy majiggy. So now I grew up on rap, but as I got older, I can appreciate a wide variety of music. I don't just focus on rap anymore. I can listen to country. Actually, that was the homie that went to the funeral too. I actually went to elementary school with his brother Francisco. Yeah. But so anyway, man, it was just a pain in the butt morning. My neck hurts, my shoulders hurt, my back hurts, my head hurts. We barely ate breakfast. What we ate for breakfast, bro? What we ate? A sandwich with cheese. Yeah, we had some plant-based cheese, and I was saving them for a grilled cheese, and I had some bread. And I was like, man, we ain't gonna start this dang stove. I'm in the process of doing this whole job. Yo, hold on, here, boom, here for you and here for me, boom, boom. And we just ate that quick little thing on the go. I honestly was quite, bummed, because I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to get one up for today. How am I gonna explain this to you guys? I was gonna put a community post, hey guys, there won't be uploads for a couple days, this, that, and the third. But I get OCD with things. I can't let it go. I can't let it go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this right here in front of us. This is McKinley Elementary School. There's a bunch of new houses that were made on my left-hand side by Norris Square Civic Association, which is also known as Norris Square Community Alliance. I spoke to you guys about that briefly on the part 1 of West Kensington. Right in front of us is 5th Street. 1 block forward is 5th Street. Let's make this left on Orkney. If we pass 5th Street, we will no longer be in West Kensington. We will cross over into, in that particular case, the Hartranft neighborhood. There's really loose lines around here. Very few people would understand the lines unless you look at a map. But this is McKinley Elementary School. I used to actually work here. This is actually where me and Omi really got linked up together at. You can say this is where our story started at 11 and a half years ago, roughly, right? This is where we started at. I was the overseer of, I would say, a dozen or so staff and the program. I was the activities coordinator. And she was a staff member working hands on hands with, second graders? She was with second graders and kindergarten. Yeah, so, and I used to float from K through 8th. And yeah, there was, this is where our story, got started at. But also make note that the Philadelphia underground rapper, I say underground because he's no longer with Rockefeller, P.D. Crack's son used to go to this school. And also, P.D. Crack's son used to go to this school. And also, Meek Mill used to hang out on this corner on my right-hand side at Lithgow. We're on Diamond and Lithgow. He used to have his Banshee on my right-hand side, and Lou Racing Garage it's like a dirt bike little shop over here. I don't know if Lou Racing still got his shop open, but he used to have his Iron Man Banshee right behind us. So on our left is McKinley. Surround Sounds, Philadelphia beat producer who is notable or notably famous for making one of Lil Wayne's Pop Bottles beat from back in the day when Pop Bottles came out. Listen to that beat. One of his garages are right here on my right. I'm not going to point out which exact garage it is, but Surround Sounds now I believe lives in Alaska. And he's from West Kensington also. So I like to point out these little details because, you know, you guys probably wonder, like, if any notable people come from these areas. Well, hopefully that answers your question. That Tesla in front of us came up a one-way. That dude's biting his nails throughout the whole entire one-way. These houses on our left are brand new. I was actually supposed to mortgage one of them. $135,000. I got approved for a $40,000 subsidy. I had a balance of about $97,000, $95 or so. I needed to come up with $6,000, which was really easy. I had that in savings plus more. And at the time of me in 2013 of about to lock down one of these properties, brand new, central air, central heat at that time. And the executive director of the organization was rooting for me. She wanted me to get one of those houses. She made sure that I got the pick before anybody got the pick. I got a chance to pick which property I wanted. And last minute, I don't know, I decided to turn down the property because I set myself up for a 30-year mortgage. The balance was like 97. I put down 6, or I would have put down 6. The closing cost was like less than $2,000 and all that stuff. The keys, when I went for signing, I was ready to get the keys and everything. And 30-year mortgage at about a 95, a little less than that, $1,000 difference. It was coming up to like $760 something a month mortgage for 30 years. After insurance, because you need homeowners insurance and all that stuff, it was going to be around $860, which is relatively good. I mean, you can't beat that. And that would have been a fixed mortgage. It wouldn't have went up within time. So even though the neighborhood would have went up, my mortgage would have stood the same, and I could have sold off the mortgage at any given time. This building right here on our left, there was a student. I used to go to school on my right. There was a student that passed away in that building because of a fire while I went to the school here, and he went to that school too. So just pointing that detail out. But yeah, guys, so it's been an interesting morning, you know. We made it. That's all I can say. I'm sorry if I sound drowned. I sound drained. I am drained. I am drowned. We barely ate. We definitely got to eat after this. I wanted to wash the vehicle, but I'm like, no, man, I can't wash the vehicle. You know why? Because the sun's about to go down, and I want this tour to have some light. You know what I mean? We already came through this block. We went forward all the way up to the park, but I'm going to make a left here. I'm going to cut short. See, you remember that Mustang on our right? So I'm going to make this left. And we're gonna drive towards Lawrence. We already went through Lawrence. We came from our right, we went to our left. We're driving westbound right now towards Orkney, and then we're gonna go to 5th Street. There's another element in front of us. Element Gang, Elemental Life. It's a black one. So I'm going to go straight, and then I'm gonna make a right on 5th Street, which is the border. This is the borderline anyway. If you go forward, you're no longer in West Kensington. So I'm gonna make this right-hand turn. There's a couple rappers from around this neighborhood too. We're on 5th Street. 5th Street is a double lane street. Let me merge right. I'm gonna move to my right. We got houses on our left that are pushed back 2-story with a little front terrace. On our right, they're 3-story, no front terrace. We have an abandoned house on my right-hand side too. Golden Block Dollar Plus. Why do they call this the Golden Block? There's a Spanish restaurant on our left. We're at Cumberland, 5th and Cumberland. This is called the Golden Block because on the next block is El Centro de Oro. When you enter Fairhill, which we will be entering Fairhill once we pass Huntingdon. When you enter Fairhill, you have El Centro de Oro, the block of gold, the Golden Block, which is happens to be, I don't know if it's like an indirect for it being the biggest open air drug market, or open air market in general, aka the Badlands. We're passing Taller Puerto Riqueño. This building on our left wasn't always there. There was only one on our right, but they eventually bought the property on the left and made it. We're passing APN Resource Center on our right. We're at 5th and Lehigh. Locals know this as Cinco y Lehigh. Cinco y Lehigh, meaning 5th and Lehigh. Even Black Americans and or African Americans who know this area, who from the hood. Let's make this right on 5th Street. You got Speedway on our left, $3.32 per gallon. On our right, well, now on our left too, the Conoco or the Conoco is out of business. They couldn't hang. We're making this right-hand turn on Orkney. You see this overpass in front of us? So this building on our left was the original CHOP, St. Christopher's Hospital, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, whatever. I think that was the abbreviation or whatever for it. On our right was the continuation. They now have these buildings repurposed. On our left is the projects, low-income housing. On our right is the APM Resource Center. I didn't mention a bar we passed by on 5th Street. There was a bar that was in my family. And I mentioned that because this building on our right coming up on the corner was also in my family. One of my pop's cousins owned it. He owns a lot of property in Philadelphia. He owns, I would say, probably several to a dozen properties. This is one of them on our right. It's a huge property. I used to be in there when I was a kid, when it was a restaurant. Side note, when it was a restaurant, he ended up closing down for a little bit. It was called El Cacica Cafe, right? It was a Spanish restaurant. They closed it down for a little bit. Then he re-rented it out. He rented it to some Dominicans. Some Dominicans opened up their little restaurant, right? Not too long after, somebody got shot in the inside of the restaurant. Somebody walked in there, shot a customer, point blank range, and walked out. I don't know if it was a hit, but that happened in that restaurant that we just passed, which happened to be my family's joint. Not a close family member, because I don't got many close family guys, you know. You know how it is when you grow older. Well, you probably don't know how it is. Some of you guys are probably still extremely close to your family at adult age. I'm not. I don't have a lot of family that I can call family. I got probably less than 5 people that I can count on my fingers that, and one big one, which is my pop. Number one, shout out to my pop, because he never flat left me. No matter how much disagreements we had in our lifetime, he was always there for me to love, care for me, and enlighten me. I actually have some family on this block too. Again, that I'm not close to from my mom's side. They didn't always live here. They recently moved here, but they took another family member's house that right here on my left-hand side. So they took another family member's house that when I think my mother's great-grandma passed away, they took her house. And they're from the Badlands, from 8th and Clearfield. Is it 8th and Clearfield? 9th and Clearfield. So they're from right there in the Badlands, heart of the Badlands, Fairhill. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not really too close to a lot of the family members, man. It's like when you grow older, like I consider myself, I wouldn't say antisocial, but I can be a recluse quite easily, you know. I can be a hermit, you know. I can just stick with my day ones. One of my main day ones, rest in peace, Walt, passed away. Nowadays, I just got Omi, my dogs, my pop. That's it. Occasionally, my brother might pop up. Occasionally, I might get a phone call from my cousin or a text. But that's it. I got friends that probably contact me more than family. And that's the cold, hard truth. So we are still driving southbound on Orkney. As you can see, this part of West Kensington, there's still plenty of vacant lots. Look at, there's a brand new property right there. The address is 444 Dolphin Street. Wow, look at that. That's a brand new property. Do you want to look up that property? Look it up. Google it. 444 West Dolphin Street, Philadelphia, PA 19133. Look up that property so you can see what that property was sold for. Because I believe when we walked through there, me and Omi walked through there a couple weeks ago, a bunch of Asian youngsters came out of it. Check this out. An electric car right here on my right-hand side. A Toyota RAV4 EV vehicle. Well, how do I know it's electric? Because it's plugged up, silly. Yeah, it's plugged up. Wow, we got electric cars in the hood. Aside from that Tesla that we saw, there's a Toyota. But yeah, guys, as you notice, on our left and on our right, there's plenty of available lots. Yup, plenty of available lots. That is McKinley right here in front of us. Check it out. Let's take this down a little further. I can go right, take you up 5th Street, but technically, it depends, because when I worked for North Square Community Alliance for many years, and we served the West Kensington neighborhood, originally this area can still be classified as West Kensington. But now that you look at the maps and I guess how the city zoned this area, they zoned this area as Norris Square. So for example, if you drive a block around the corner on 5th Street, 5th and Norris, you will see Norris Square Auto Repair. And Norris Square Park is in West Kensington. It's on my left-hand side. So we're making a left here again. I'm going here just so I can show you guys We got rapper Petey Crack. Remember I mentioned Petey Crack? His son used to go over here on my left-hand side. Rapper Petey Crack. His family's vicinity is around the corner on 3rd Street, 3rd and Norris. I had a youngster student that actually went to McKinley right behind me. That school, there's a cop poster right here on my left-hand side. I actually had a youngster who, we're at 4th and Diamond on this left-hand side in this block. Matter of fact, let's go and see Ed's garage. Rest in peace, Ed. My buddy that passed away, let's make this left on Oriana. He used to paint at this garage around the corner. His actually, I'm sorry, my words are slurring. His step-pop still owns the property and still does auto body work, which is where Ed started out at when he was a youngster. Well, I'm gonna show y'all the garage. These houses over here on my left, again, were more affordable housing. I believe this is PHA. I could be wrong, but this is PHA. On our right, that's a new house. The boarded up one is brand new. That's not PHA, that's private investor. On our left, these are NSCA, North Square Community Alliance homes. Remember I said that I was qualified for one? Yeah, no, I didn't want to get into that. I don't think I finished that story either. The reason why I turned it out is because 30-year mortgage. I knew that I didn't want to work a 9-to-5 for the rest of my life. At least not for the next 30 years. And although I'm a hustler and I'm a punch buggy, no punch back. Punch whoever next to you, your mother, your brother, your father, your sister, your niece, your nephew, whoever. Punch them. We passed the Maryland license plate. Even though I know I'm a hustler and I can make money, whatever, but that's a lot to commit to. Land Cruiser on our left-hand side, nice classic. Oh, they had this Impala right here. Ever since I was a kid, since I went to the school, this Impala's been parked here. And it's in probably poor shape, guys. But it's been in that same parking spot on Nevada Street right here ever since I went to this school, guys, right here. You see that? You see that Chevrolet right there? That's been there forever and it don't move and it just keeps on deteriorating. I believe the owner probably lives right across the street. So this is the block that Ed used to paint cars on. And when he passed away recently, when we did the memorial, we drove through this area and we parked it right there in the corner. And all the cars that came to show love for him parked up right off the block and they played the music. And they drove not only him through here, because they have him in the casket. I had got my EF painted here once before. Before I painted it myself, I see his car. Oh, I see his car. I just saw it. Garage was open. Dang. So they brought his car through here. It was right here on this corner. And this whole corner was filled with cars, with people burning out. It was music bumping. His casket was out here. His car was on a flatbed. I don't know too many people. I only know of one other story where I believe in Puerto Rico, a guy who was part of a biker club, a motorcycle club, passed away. And they rode his body on the motorcycle. I guess his family requested to have his body embalmed. Side note, my student that was gunned down, who used to go to McKinley, got gunned down right here on my left-hand side. There was a shooting. 2 people came and shot up everybody that was right here. 3 or 4 people got shot. My student passed away right here on my left-hand side. He was only 14 at the time. He was 14 years old. This happened about 3 years ago. He had 2 other brothers and 1 sister. And we had them all in the program. Omi had one of the siblings. I had 2 of the older siblings. No, she had like 2 of them too, because you were working with third once, right? I believe you were once working with third. So anyway, this is the block where he got gunned down at. But anyway, I don't know too many people who, go out in that way where they have a big funeral and then the funeral, the procession, is it called the procession? I think it's called the procession, right? The funeral procession drives them through the neighborhood, right? Because it's only right. They drive through the neighborhood where they once were, their hangout spots and everything. And in the case where I'm talking about in Puerto Rico, they embalmed the gentleman to fit the shape of the motorcycle. So then they rode the motorcycle through his old neighborhood while he was sitting on it, embalmed. So that got to be a heck of a sight. I think you could probably still find Google images of it, which is kind of trippy. You can Google the guy who got rode around the city in a motorcycle while he was deceased. But they put glasses on him and they made it look like he was taking one last ride. Wow, that's powerful. Think about it, one last ride. We're at 4th and Norris. There used to be a barbershop on my right-hand side. I went there a couple times when I was a youngster. It was a real hood barbershop. Petey Crack used to hang around this neighborhood too. I'm gonna go straight, make a left so y'all can see PD Crack's block. I think somebody once said that recently. They commented on my video a few months ago. Yo, Tune, can you hit PD Crack's block? Show us where PD Crack's from. There's new properties all along this block that were not here many years ago. We have 3 abandoned ones on my left, but all these little empty lots, all new properties. So, see over here on my left? So, Ed, not only did he go through the neighborhood on his casket, which is normal, which is typical, but he loved his car so much, and it was a custom crazy colored car and everything. Somebody put it on a flatbed for him and was behind the casket, and they put all these, the flowers, the bouquet and all that. They had his trunk open and all that, and they drove it through the city, guys. Man, it was a surreal experience. We're at 4th and Burke's side. Shout out to Boulder Raw. Bold is a Philadelphia graffiti artist. I really want to go left because there's so many houses that are new on this block. I should really, and one time I drove through this block, and seconds after passing it, somebody got gunned. No, was it seconds before or seconds after? I believe it was seconds after passing it, somebody got gunned down on the corner of this block. And when I drove back through it, there was police and there was caution tape and everything. All these houses are new, left and my right. This was all empty lots. Empty on my left, empty on my right. And dudes and ladies and gentlemen, none of these houses were here except that those 2 little tiny ones on my right. But all of these on my left and right, they're all new. And look at jersey tags on my right. People moving over here. And there's more lots. Those people who park in their cars in the lots don't own those lots. I'm sure they don't, because they would have been paved and been done nicely. They would have got they would have got sold them with the house. Look at, for sale, 1940. Look at, for sale, 1944. You see that? This is, what is this considered? What are we on? Let's go. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have my Wheaties for breakfast this morning. So look, New York tags are on my right. So people are relocating. They're relocating. And this is actually a lot closer to downtown. From right here, you can get to downtown. This is Oriana. My bad, y'all. You can get to downtown from here in 7 minutes. You can get to New Jersey from here in about 10 minutes. Yeah, you're actually conveniently placed in this neighborhood, which is why they probably, took it to the chin and said, I'm going to move here, This block's still pretty original. We got, looks like 1 new house over here on my right-hand side. 1 new house. I believe one of my nephews from my sister, from one of my younger sisters, one of my nephew's father and grandfather is from this block. On my right, we have a couple new houses. We have a nice classic over here on my right. Oh, they messed it up. Somebody hit it. That classic was not dinged up like that. It looked like they had to put tape on it because somebody hit it. Let's make this right-hand turn. There's an old rest in peace memorial right there that says Tyrese. Which is weird because the student that I said that got gunned down around the corner, what's his name? Tyree. Tyree. I'm sorry. Was Tyon one of his brothers? That's the one you had. Yeah, because the parents named, we're at 3rd and Diamond. The parents named them all with a tie. So it was Tyana, Tyan, Tyree, and there was another Ty. I can't remember him right now. But yeah. We're on Diamond and American. If we cross over, we covered that side on part 5 of the Kensington touring series. That's actually part 1 of West Kensington. This lot on my right is owned by the Flat Fix. It's a huge lot. They own a big, huge piece of property, gigantic piece of property. On my left, Iglesia de Dios Pentecostal. That's where they held one of my uncle Moyo. Rest in peace, Moyo. I'm sorry, I got a hiccup. Rest in peace, Moyo. That's where they held his viewing. We're at Norris and American. I'm making a right-hand turn on Norris. This on my left is empty, but it was once a scrap yard. So on my right-hand side, this is Bodine. Bodine, you see the playground? That playground, PD Crack probably hung out because his family's from that block right there. And those houses that are built right across from the playground, the 2 new ones were not there. They were recently placed there. 3rd and Norris, brand new homes. And there's some new ones on my left. So obviously there's investors investing in this neighborhood. We got Texas buyer, Texas tags on my right-hand side. Yeah, this is PD Crack's block, for those of you who care about it. If you don't know who PD Crack is, you can go on YouTube and look up some of his interviews and his music videos. He is Puerto Rican and he is Black American. He's mixed. I always liked him growing up. As far as his music, I always liked his tonality. He was more of a high-pitched tone. And since he was Hispanic, he used to incorporate Spanish with his English language rap, and he used to do his thing, you know. PD Crack, PEEDICRAKK, PD Crack. This is Chase Foods on our right. There's a new house squeezing on my left, some old ones, some empty lots, and then there's a house for sale on my left hand side. 2124 3rd Street. Empty lots on my left. We have somebody walking their dog on my right hand side. Cute little doggy. And now we're back where we started. Let's make this left hand turn. We don't want to go straight because I already took you guys through there. Now this part of West Kensington is a little bit smaller. We have IC alternators and starters over here and generators. I used to go to them ever since I was a youngster. Why? Because they can rebuild your old starter and alternator. And if you need refurbished ones or you need used ones or whatever, they got them there. And they also used to rebuild axles. So you will be able to take your old alternator, starter, or axles, trade them in for a core value and get money towards your new starter, alternator, axle. We're at 4th and Susquehanna. These are all the new houses that Norris Square is responsible for. In West Kensington, they're responsible for a lot of them. If you didn't watch the part 1 of West Kensington, which is the one right before this one, I mentioned how Norris Square, their goal was to keep housing affordable, which is why these were so cheap. They were 130 grand. Now yeah, sure. This house across the street on our left-hand side, which is brand new, these were 135, 140, maybe 150 max on my right, depending on the size and amenities. This one right here on my left, which this was actually a rebuild. So this was a rehab. It was already a building there, but they rehabbed it. I still bet you they probably want 300 grand for that rehab. And there's some brand new ones right up the block, which I promise you they probably want 350, 400 grand. And that's because it's an investor. What's the difference from the investor and that nonprofit organization in the community that was trying to keep things affordable? The investor has dollar in mind. The investor has money in mind. They want to make a good profit, right? They're selling it to you because of the convenience. I know. Potholes, tune. Trash, tune. Abandon this, tune. Who would want to live next to each other, tune? I don't know. Like, you guys got to knock on these people's doors and ask them why did they move here? Look at this one right here on my right. Brand new property. Not only is it new, but they put a whole friggin' prison cell in it's a whole bird cage. It says 24-hour surveillance. But yeah, guys, look at this one on my left. They got some painting out front, and they got an upside down triangle with an eye. Interesting, huh? Rosa del Monte. So yeah, you know, Norris Square had the people in mind. The investors have the money in mind. Make sense? So we're traveling northbound on 5th Street. We have some nice murals on our left, nice murals on our right. For those of you who don't know, Philadelphia is the mural capital of the nation. We boast the most murals in the nation. I've seen a lot of beautiful murals across the country. A lot of beautiful murals, like some that blew me away. But Philadelphia takes lead in the mural arts program. And we're talking about legal murals. We're not even talking about the graffiti pieces and all of that. That don't count. We're talking about traditional mural arts. This King Walk on our left, it caught on fire. That Chinese store on my left-hand side, it caught on fire before. We already passed this block, guys. We already passed it. It's a bunch of potholes, man. I'm not really feeling the potholes. But with that being said, you guys got to see a good amount of West Kensington. You got to see the Eastern Corridor. I took you guys on a spin through the Western Corridor. Stay tuned for the next episode, the next virtual drive, when we go through East Kensington, which, if you think this area is gentrified or receiving a lot of investors, wait till you see East Kensington. Wow, it looks like there was a car that was set on fire right there on my left-hand side. Yep, the remains of a car was still scattered all throughout the floor. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. Please consider subscribing. We got that $1,000 giveaway when we reach 100,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100K, baby.